The apocalypse is in less than a month, so I thought I'd spend my remaining time theorizing and analyzing my favorite TV show, Netflix's Dark. For the uninitiated, Dark is a German TV show made for Netflix by creators Baran bo Odor and Jontje Fries, which according to the logline on IMDb, it's a family saga with a supernatural twist, set in a German town where the disappearance of 2 young children exposes the relationship among 4 families. But if you've seen seasons 1 and 2, you know that it's a little bit more complicated than that. Time travel, incest, alternate world.
Oh, this is heavy.
Due to this complexity, it's very clear that Odor and Fries have been inspired by a wide range of material, from time travel films like Back to the Future, to 80s films like The Breakfast Club, and to more traditional crime dramas. However, for this series of videos, I'm going to focus on one particular influence: religion and mythology, with this video beginning my focus on religion. Now, it is very clear that the creators have drawn from religion in their storytelling. In fact, there are many overt references to this. For example, we have the fact that Noah wears a priest's outfit, as well as a church being heavily featured as a key location. Also, Peter Doppler is shown struggling with the temptation that he has to visit Benny Vola in the caravan. This could come down to some sort of sexual addiction, or it could also be him trying to suppress or even come to terms with his true sexuality. The prayer that he uses is called the Serenity Prayer, and it's used by Alcoholics Anonymous, as well as other 12-step programs. Another overt reference to religion is the fact that Sigmundus have 13 members, which is the same number as another ragtag group of adventurers. No, not them. That's the fellas. Lastly, the painting in Adam's underground bunker is called The Fall of the Damned. It's by artist Peter Paul Rubens, which depicts the bodies of the damned being thrown into the abyss by Archangel Michael and other angels. There are many more, but I think I've made my point. There is clearly a deliberate vein of religious imagery in Dark, which I believe can help us predict what may happen in Season 3. So, building off of the fact that old Jonas has taken the name Adam, it follows that this is a reference to Adam and Eve. This theory has been kicking about ever since Season 2 was released, and it has been disregarded by some due to it being too obvious. Which I get, I do, but I think some people are viewing it in the wrong way. Let me explain the correct way to think about it. The creators didn't sit there and think, let's write the Bible and just change the names, or in some cases not. They are influenced by the story of Adam and Eve, and therefore they reference aspects of it in their work. The point is not to retell the story of creation from the Bible. The point is to use it as influence in the creation of a new story. I think the people who would be disappointed by the story of Adam and Eve being a main theme or influence in Dark are not likely to have tried to write something themselves. I have. It's hard. There does not exist any story that is not influenced by another. My wife put it perfectly. It is not copying to reference or be influenced by things. The idea is to reference and be influenced by so many things that you have an original piece of work. This is definitely the case with Dark. Even if the character is called Adam, and he has parallels with Adam from the Bible, he is not Adam from the Bible. He is a new character with his own story. Just like Superman isn't Moses, even though he was put in a basket, sent down the river, and adopted by new parents. So, with that being said, here's my theory for this episode. I believe Alt World Marta will be Eve to old Jonas's Adam. Now, I'm not saying that she'll be called Eve, although she might. I am merely saying that I believe that the events of Season 3 could be informed by the story of Adam and Eve. There seems to be a lot of evidence that this could be the case. For example, thanks to pictures from the creator Baran bo Odor's Instagram, we see that the staff passes for cast and crew for Season 3 display a painting of Adam and Eve. The same painting can be seen in the trailer released for Season 3 behind Marta. Of course, this could all be a very elaborate troll on behalf of the creators, but I doubt it. Also, there is the fact that Alt Marta's time/dimension travel device looks a lot like an apple. I know, this one seems a bit silly, but it really does. It's spherical. It could be seen as the apple, which of course Eve took from the Tree of Knowledge at the request of the snake in the Garden of Eden. So that brings up a question. Who's the snake? How did Alt Marta get the apple? Well, I believe this to be Claudia. Now, again, I want to explain. I'm not saying that Claudia is the devil. I'm not saying she is the snake, because I think that she is representing the snake. This is not the Bible. This is Dark. It is influenced by the story of Adam and Eve. It is not a retelling. Sorry for repeating myself so much on this point, but there seems to be a lot of people who don't seem to get it. Claudia is not the snake. Claudia may be, in this part of the story, influenced by the snake. Having said that, she does get called a devil. A lot. And if you still aren't convinced, this dialogue she has with Noah just before she dies sounds like it could have been lifted from the snake's dialogue in the Bible.
Durch die Illusion von Freiheit. Aber frag dich, ob du wirklich frei bist. Wenn du wirklich frei wärst, hättest du eine Wahl. Hast du eine Wahl?
Just to clarify, I'm also not saying that Claudia is evil. In fact, there exists a school of thought that the snake in the story of Adam and Eve is a catalyst for change and not necessarily an antagonist. All the snake did, after all, was offer a choice. Also, Claudia herself has already said that she has seen a world without Jonas, which seems to be Alt Marta's world based on photos from Baron Bo-Odor's Instagram, showing that a character from the play in Season 1 is kind of taking Jonas's place in the friend group. Also, a clip released on the Netflix YouTube page shows Claudia traveling with a device that creates gold sparks, like the Dimension device that Alt Marta uses. Could Claudia have gone to the Alt world to give the apple to Alt Marta? Could the apple signify a loss of innocence, i.e. gaining knowledge of the time travel and dimension skipping? Could this apple be the source of the time loop? Could Adam and Eve be the source of all the chaos? Another theory related to this one that's being discussed is that Alt Marta could be the Jonas of the Alt world, as in the world with no Jonas, Marta takes his place. This seems to be being hinted at in the date announcement trailer, where Marta is wearing a yellow coat, very similar to Jonas's, as well as some iconic Jonas shots that are being replicated with Marta, like the one with her riding her bike. Maybe we'll see Alt Marta go through a similar journey that Jonas went through. Perhaps she'll eventually even turn into a similar figure to Adam, like Jonas did. Let's, for argument's sake, call her Eve. To hint at this point, there's been an older woman cast that strikes a similar resemblance to Marta. So at the very least, we may get to see Alt Marta grow older. If there was to be an Adam and an Eve, there has been speculation that the new world that Adam wants to create could actually be represented by the illustration seen in Season 2, Episode 5, Lost and Found, where a male and a female are blowing their worlds towards a new world in the middle. Could this be Adam and Eve creating a new world in order to break the cycle? This theory of Jonas and Alt Marta resembling Adam and Eve type figures is backed up by another theory, which I'm going to cover in my next video, and it's centered all around the characters of Noah and Agnes. If you aren't convinced by the Adam and Eve theory yet, you will be by the end of the next video. In conclusion, I feel there is no doubt that the creators have been influenced by religion in their writing, and I also feel that they're very clearly trying to convey themes of Adam and Eve. I mean, they called him Adam. However, whether this will actually lead to the story playing out as I've predicted, that's unknown. So will Claudia be the snake to Jonas and Marta's Adam and Eve? I guess we can only wait and see.